My name is Christy. Today I want to talk to you about crafting a new life with care, wisdom, and respect. As I sat down to write the blog post for this week, I realized that so much of life is still in turmoil. COVID-19 rages on, albeit at a slower pace in some parts of the U.S. But we're realizing that this isn't going away anytime soon, and that means that we need to figure out a way to live life in the midst of the constant threat. Now, with that challenge, each family must weigh the options, local requirements and restrictions, and so many other variables. It's nearly enough to drive a person mad. A few weeks ago, our pastor used the analogy of a traffic light to explain where people fall as we struggle with returning to some semblance of normal life. Some people are red, full stop, not going out, continuing to shelter in place for the foreseeable future. Now, many times this is because of some sort of higher risk factor for them or for someone they care about. I support their decision. Now, other people are yellow, venturing out with caution, wearing a mask, maybe gloves, not going out more than necessary. Some may sanitize themselves and everything else when they get home. Others may just limit their time out, but not take many more precautions beyond that. I support their decision. Finally, some people are green. If it's open, they're going. They've been locked up long enough and are ready to return to life as much as they possibly can. And I support their decision. Now, I like this analogy because it really does allow everyone to pick where they're comfortable and explain it in a way that everyone else can understand. When I think about our loved ones who may struggle to understand all that's going on, this analogy is likely one that they already understand, and it can help them apply it to our new situation. It also helps them understand why some of their friends may be able to do more or less than they're able to do. Now, here in Nevada, our governor ordered everyone to start wearing masks effective last weekend. Now, we've been wearing masks when we go out, but it was nice to know that it wasn't an issue if we happened to forget. At the same time, after reading articles and seeing things online, I'm realizing that it really is safer and will significantly help to flatten the curve if everyone wears a mask. But more on that in a minute. As for activities, we're slowly doing more here, but still pretty much hunkering down. Probably the biggest issue that came up for this week is the announcement of a proposed plan to reopen our schools in the fall. Okay, well, that means August when school starts here, but you get what I mean. They've already announced that football practices and other fall sports will be allowed to start soon, but the schools have yet to receive the guidelines they have to put into place before practices are allowed to start. So who knows when they're actually going to be allowed to start, or if they'll change their minds completely. Now, this proposed plan to reopen our schools calls for 3 groups. One group that meets on Monday, Tuesday at the school, one group that meets on Thursday and Friday at the school, and the rest of the days they would be doing online school at home. The third group would be online all the time. Now, I haven't heard of a single person who likes this proposal, and I understand why. It's inconvenient and harder to learn. The loudest complaints obviously have been from parents of elementary students who now may have to figure out childcare 3 days a week. Now, that definitely complicates life. Now, students aren't happy about this because most of them don't like online school. Some say they don't learn the material as well. Okay, that's a valid concern. Another aspect of the plan calls for junior and senior high students to do a year's worth of work in a semester and take fewer classes each semester. Now, this allows them to have each class in a reduced class size once a week while completing the rest of the week online. Now, while having longer classes once a week is an improvement over what they did in the spring, only seeing your teacher once a week still seems like a really hard way to effectively learn the material. A teacher friend of mine has concerns about material retention for future years. For example, if you take math in the fall semester and you do your whole year's worth of work done, it's likely that you're not going to take another math in the spring semester. That means it'll be an entire year from when you start one class until you start the next class. And we all know how much can be forgotten over summer. Can you imagine how much can be forgotten in a semester plus a summer? Yeah, not a pleasant thought to me. Now, they're not anticipating this plan being voted on for another week from when I record this video. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, another change that I mentioned this week was that masks are now required whenever we're in public. Now, personally, I have a hard time seeing this as a bad thing. Yes, it's inconvenient, and it's hot in our temperatures because it's just hot outside, let alone putting a mask on. But again, to flatten the curve and to work to get rid of this nastiness as quickly as possible, I have a hard time seeing this as a bad thing, and I think it is the right call to make. But I also have to say, I am thankful I am not the person who has to make that call. As with everywhere else, there are plenty of people complaining and arguing about how it imposes on their rights. And part of me just wants to go, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. But another me understands where they're coming from. Now, I think the best article that I've seen, I linked to in the blog post this week. You can find that at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted the end of June of 2020. So in this article, it came across my Facebook feed and it was shared by a friend. It's written by an infectious disease doctor. He says that wearing a mask is a sign of respect to yourself to keep you from getting others' cooties, but it's also a sign of respect for those around you because you keep your cooties to yourself and not pass them around. Now, I've thought about this, but I hadn't stopped to put it into specific words like this, and he's got the expertise to support his position. So how does all of this apply to you? Well, once again, let me give you a few things to think about. What you decide is specific to your family, as it should be. First of all, give everyone grace and acceptance while assuming that they're doing the best they can during this tough time. Trust that they're making the best decisions for their family. Second, realize that there are different responses to rejoining life. Some are red, others are yellow, and some are green. Accept and support everyone in their choices. Third, flexibility is more important than ever. Now, I know it's hard, especially for some of our loved ones who only see things in black and white. But there will always be things that are beyond our control. Flexibility allows us to go through life with fewer meltdowns and with a whole lot more peace and calm. Fourth, a sense of humor will take you far and may well save your sanity in times like these. Finding the humor in a situation provides some comic relief, which is a great stress reliever. Laughing with your family also helps bring you closer and gives you a moment to bond together. Finally, looking for things to be thankful or grateful for helps you to keep you pointed in a positive direction. When things are stressful and anxiety rises, it's easy to focus on all of the things that aren't going the way you want them to. If we seek to find one thing to be thankful for every day, okay, preferably more than one, but at least one, it helps us to gain a more balanced perspective. So my question for you this week is this. Which of those takeaways are you going to focus on this week? What color of the traffic light do you find your family falling into? I'd love to hear about your choices. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted the end of June of 2020. As always, I'd appreciate it if you'd share this with anybody you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as I can. Sign-up lists are available over on the website. Signing up lets you know about all newly released content as soon as it's available. I'm seeking to find the humor and positives in this situation so that I can continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.